Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Worldwide Sports, your one-stop shop for all things MLB, NBA, and WNBA. So today we are continuing our series on NBA free agency. I've already uploaded a video about Vooch staying with the Bulls, and so our next one today is going to be James Harden. Now, if you haven't heard, James Harden is opting into his player option, but the Sixers are working with him to get a deal done for a trade. So James Harden will be traded from the Philadelphia 76ers. And of course, there are obviously teams that are going to be front runners. As of right now, it is the Clippers and the Knicks. And out of those two, you would have to think that the Knicks, I think, would have the better trade package. With the Knicks, you just have more young guys. You can get, if you're the Sixers, you want to be able to make a deal where you're going to be getting good stuff back for James Harden. He's not a bad player by any means necessary, so you want to get back good players because you still have the MVP on your roster if you're the Sixers. So you still want to have a good competitive team because, it's Philadelphia. The fans will let you know if you do not have a competitive team. And then, two, you just don't want to waste any years of the MVP being on your roster. So I think you have to get a good haul back. If you're the Clippers, what does that deal look like for you? I don't really know actually what the Clippers would be willing to give up. I've heard that Terrence Mann would not be a part of a deal. So then does that mean either Kawhi or PG is gone? That's a little bit more complicated because, are you willing to give up a star like that for another star? I mean, I guess you would be, but I mean, this hasn't worked out in the last couple of James Harden trades where you trade a star for a star. And you kind of just, every team involved just kind of wishes that they didn't and wish they would have just stayed with the original pieces. So I don't know. The Knicks, like I've said before, you would have to have the better option. You can get a RJ Barrett. You can maybe try and get Emmanuel quickly, but I don't know why you would do that. You have Tyrese Maxey. So you can just try and get a couple of pieces off of the Knicks. If you are the 76ers, I think trading interdivision isn't as big in the NBA as it is in the MLB. I know in the MLB it's very you do not trade with teams in your division, but I think in the NBA it happens a lot more often. Even the 76ers have done it within the last couple of seasons just to get James Harden trade within their division. So it's very interesting to see where he could end up. And then you always have to think Houston. Even though they, are not contenders right now, they're not the teams that Woj has been reporting on. You have to think that they are in there. Of course, they probably wouldn't want to get rid of some of their young talent, though, to get an older, aging James Harden. They would have liked to get him in free agency. They would have liked to have paid him and not have to give up anything to get him. So I think that's why they have probably backed off a little bit more. But I think to not include them would not be smart because obviously James Harden has shown interest in going back to Houston. There's a lot of money to be had in Houston. And he obviously enjoys himself in Houston. He goes out a lot in Houston. We know that even during the offseason, he will go to Houston. That's where he stays at sometimes during the offseason. So we know he likes Houston. So it would be, not smart to not count them in. But of course, like I said, they don't want to give up any young talent. They're a very young team over there. But they do have a new head coach. So maybe Ime is maybe pushing that and saying, hey, I know we don't want to give up any pieces, but this is James Harden. This is, a guy who can go out there and go give you 30, so we have to see. And then last but not least, what does Philly do? Obviously a lot of what Philly is going to do is going to be based off of the package that they get from whoever they trade for. But you have to think, Joel Embiid is entering almost his age 30 season, and he has not yet once reached the conference finals. So you have to think now, who are we going to be able to trade and give up and get to make this happen? What are the things that we're going to be able to do to get this man some help? Or is it him? It's one of those things where you have to just start looking around and say, what is going on? Is it him? Is it the team that we're putting around him? there are a whole lot of questions I think that need to be had in Philly right now, because you don't want to waste this guy's prime. And the second he becomes a free agent, who knows? He could up and leave. Especially with all the money that he could get somewhere else. You never know. So if you're Philly, you definitely want to get a really good trade package out of this. But really interesting news and development. So we'll see what James Harden goes. Obviously, I'm sure that maybe Kyrie doesn't have as big of a effect, but definitely that is probably something that once one domino falls, I think every other domino will fall. So once one big name star signs, usually the other ones sign very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens there. I am Worldwide Sports. Like and subscribe for more NBA content, NBA free agency content. I'm bringing the videos out for NBA free agency. There's so many, and I just love bringing the videos out. So like and subscribe for more. And you've been listening to Worldwide Sports. Have a good rest of your day.